Hi, everybody. This is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois. It's Monday, October 21st, 2013, and we're doing another one of our gamer player profiles. And today we're here with Norbert Vale, who is one of our regulars here. He's a holder of a lot of high scores and world records, very predominant in fighting games. So we're here talking with him today and looking to get a little bit more information on his background and what got him into gaming. And I guess first we'll start with what was your first experience playing video games?
Oh man, way back when I had to say maybe around 5-6 years old. I grew up playing like console-wise, Atari 2600 and Commodore 64. That's been like our stable as far as our family's concerned of gamers. Myself, my older brother. Afterwards, as time went on, for my 10th year birthday, my parents got me an NES console with 2 games, which was Super Mario Brothers and Tag Team Wrestling. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but it was
Sure.
It's an old game. My older brother and I, we would always have like a little bit of a competition as far as like Super Mario Brothers would go, like who would progress the furthest. Back then, we didn't care too much about scores. And it came down to who would beat the game first. And then when it came down to Tag Team Wrestling, it's always been a back and forth, like, well, who can beat who?
For sure.
Right.
And again, you said you started on Atari 2600 and Commodore. Do you remember what the first game that you played was?
Pitfall.
Pitfall was your first game?
Pitfall was the first Atari game I played.
What did you think of it?
It was fun. I loved it. Back then, you know, when you're like 5 years old and you play Atari games, you don't think too much of like score. You just play to have You just play to have fun.
For sure.
That's been how I've been.
That's great. It's an excellent first game.
Oh yes.
What about arcade games? Do you remember what the first arcade game that you played was?
My first arcade game I have played, to best of my knowledge, was Asteroids.
Asteroids?
Yes.
Do you remember where you played it at?
Oh, it had to been at some corner store in Chicago. I can't remember direct location. Remember, this was back when I was like maybe 8, 9 years old. But it was like a little corner store. I went there when I went to go visit my aunt, and she took me there one day. And it was just like right there. And I got to play it. When I was playing it, it was like, this was fun. Shooting asteroids left, right, and center. It was like, oh my goodness, so much fun.
Did you have a lot of arcade experience, or did you frequent a lot of arcades back in the day, or?
Oh, way back then. I have when I grew up in the little village area of 26th Street in Chicago, there were a couple of small places that would have a couple of arcade games here and there. And I had my many shares of, said experiences. Playing games such as like Popeye, the original Punch-Out, Pac-Man, Defender. It's a long list. I can keep going. It's a very long list of games that I have played way back in the day.
For sure.
Yes.
That's excellent. If you had to pick like 1 or 2 favorites from the arcade days, do you?
Way back when?
Yeah.
If I had to pick a good classic, I would have to go with Captain Commando.
Captain Commando?
I'm a huge fan of beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
And I can't say it wasn't the first game I've played, the first beat 'em up wise. That I have to give that one to Double Dragon. That
Excellent
one was
game.
the very first. That one I also love too, but something about Captain Commando, playing that game, me, 3 of my friends playing it, it was always a blast.
Yeah. You're actually the reason why we got it here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. It
And
was
you
one
have-
that you had requested, and we went all out and did the 4-player version for it. So
Yes, you have no idea how happy that makes me, Doc.
excellent. Regardless of when it came out, or console or arcade, what are some of your, like, give me your top 3 favorite games of all time?
Top 3 favorite games. Are we going from counting current?
And current, anything.
If I had to pick 3 of my favorite games from my childhood up to now, I would have to say first will be, of course, Captain Commando. The second one would have to be Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And the last one would be Capcom vs. SNK 2.
Excellent. And again, you said growing up you weren't heavy into scoring in arcade games or console games. Obviously, since you've been coming here, you've made yourself very well known with having several world records and high scores. Do you remember what your first world record that you set here was?
The very first world record that I had set here in Galloping Ghost was a game that you actually had retired, which was Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challenges.
Yes.
And at that point, I was beyond ecstatic when I first broke Justin Wong's world record.
Yeah.
I was ecstatic, like I couldn't believe it happened.
Yes. As Justin Wong's one of the most well-known Street Fighter players out there.
Yes.
Taking a score like that is definitely a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
Since then, again, you've gotten into a lot of fighting game. You've had a lot of fighting game world records. What made you get into scoring?
After a while, I want to say it wasn't until actually when Galloping Ghost first opened that I actually got into scoring.
Yeah.
When I saw what you guys have done as far as new ways of having such like world records, house records or whatnot, it gave me a whole new outlook into wanting to play, like a whole new purpose of playing games is to, have that nice top score, be well known in as far as like the Galloping Ghost community.
Mm-hmm. And well, you've definitely, again, you've made quite a name for yourself, and people always they recognize your name on the top of the cards and stuff, and you've even created some rivalries with some of your scores, going back and forth with a few players here, which is it's in a fun way. It's a fun competition, but you've definitely people have taken notice that you are getting these scores. Somebody else takes them, and then you're able to take them back, which is really great.
Yes, one of those shout outs to David, by the way, who's my CBS2 rival.
Yes.
That one you touched, and you really touched on that, because he and we've been going back and forth on our scores for Capcom SNK 2. Right now, he's currently the world record holder, and I have tried numerous times since coming back from Canada. I have tried and came really close to taking his score again. I was off by like maybe 81 points.
Yes.
And I know give me a few more tries, and I will make sure I would have that score back.
That's awesome. A lot of the high score, we haven't done much streaming with you for your scores, and that's really been a big part for a lot of our world record holders. Is they like having some like having the audience watching them, some of them don't. How are you with people watching you while you're playing? And
I'm very comfortable with it. It's no pressure to me. I like actually having a nice audience look at what I can do as far as skill goes, and so on.
Yeah. Do you do any when you're going after a score? Like, do you do any prep work? Like, do you play on emulators? Do you grind out on games, just playing the same thing, or like, did you do research on the internet? Like, how do you handle when you set your eyes on a score?
Well, a couple of things that I do is, yes, I do look up stuff on the internet. I look up long play videos and see how stuff are done. Before Galloping Ghost was around, I used to play around with MAME a little bit here and there to play games at one point I couldn't get access to. Mm-hmm. But now, ever since Galloping Ghost has been here, I have not been doing much MAME at all. Most of the stuff that I have done, I want to say at least 98% of all the games I have played has all been here.
Oh, that's excellent.
As much as like stuff like grinding, figuring out patterns, figuring out strategies, I've done everything that here.
That's excellent. It really gives it a more classic feel when scores are achieved like that.
Yes.
What would you say has been the toughest score that you've gotten, or the best goal that you've gotten that you've really had to work for?
That's a toss-up question because I can name you 2 games that I have been trying to get scores on for a while. Like I said, back to CBS2.
Yes.
That one I'm trying to get back. And another one I had for a long while, I've been trying to work on it ever since it was first taken from me, and that was Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I know I've been on and off on that game because some other times I will get like this burnout feeling, like after you try for so long, you get burned out, so you kind of take a step back from it and then just try again like a later time.
Yeah.
I have times where I have come close, not exactly there, but I'm still grinding it out, and I'm still trying so hard to get that score back, and so help me God, I will get that score back.
Especially with the fighting games, a lot of it is persistence. Like there's so many different elements to the fighting games, be it time or how much energy I have left, and sometimes you just get even the characters that you're fighting against. So I'm sure eventually you'll take that back too.
I'm working on that.
Has there ever been a score that you've just been like, I'm done playing this, and walked away from?
In all honesty, I can't say, because once I have a score, I want to keep improving and improving and improving. I want to actually set that bar as high as possible for other people to try to reach it. I try to set the bar for other players to help achieve, like, say, that score or whatnot, or better.
Yeah.
Then it gives me a reason to actually go back and even try to raise it further than it is now.
Yeah.
Like I said, that whole example, CBS2, the bar has been set to an unbelievable pace.
For sure.
And sorry.
I'm sorry. With some of your scores, like what has been, obviously there's so many great players coming here and setting scores. What score do you have now? Would you like to keep the longest? Like, is it like what one means the most to you right now that you have?
If I had the one I have currently,
Yep.
that one is also a loaded question because I can name you a few.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I can get back my Third Strike world record, that one would be another one. That would be another great achievement. That would be a score I would love to have. CVS2 again. That one I would love to have. I'm happy with the unification of all the alpha titles. I have all 4. But I know I can improve more on that.
Sure.
But I would love to hold all the 4 alpha world records for as long as possible.
Is there and everybody? It's so easy when you get a score. Can you touch a little bit on when you actually lose a score? Like, what has been the hardest score when you lost it? That it's just been like, that one hurts, losing that one.
I'll give you 2. CBS 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Really?
That one, because I had that score for maybe a year. I think it was a year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. It was about a year.
And then when I come back from Canada, I saw someone else, Antoine Thompson,
Yes.
who actually took the score. My jaw just dropped. I'm like, okay, I know what I have to do now. Get back on that grind and try to take it back.
And that's like right now. What are your future goals? Like, what scores are you going after right now?
I want to actually break off from traditional versus fighting and try to get into like the beat 'em up genre.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get like really good scores for games like Captain Commando, Final Fight, and even Knights of the Round.
Really?
I actually played that a couple of times, and I came very close to reaching Matt Rocco's score.
Yes.
I came really close. So I think if I were to keep on playing, chances are I would actually beat it.
That's awesome. If you could just be given one world record where it was the game that you just were so good at and you would have this world record on any game, what would it be?
Capcom versus SNK 2.
Really?
Yes.
Why that? What got you into that game?
Oh, the backstory behind that game was...
When did you play it first, too?
Well, way back when there was an arcade at Fort City Mall. That's when they first had it. Played it, I enjoyed it. And then sometime later, when it came out on
What
console,
arcade was that?
it was called Tilt.
Tilt?
Tilt, Fort City Mall. This was, again, years ago. I used to go to that place quite frequently. Then sometime after it came on the console, me and my younger half-brother, who now lives in Florida, we would have like the most amazing back and forth versus matches. And I mean, like, some of this, I wish I could record half this stuff. It was good. And then other times when some of my other buddies have it on the Dreamcast, we would have amazing back and forth matches.
Yeah. Who do you use?
If I were to play in versus with three team members, Vega, Iori, Terry Bogard. If I play solo, like try it as far as score goes, I only pick Ken.
Yeah.
As a ratio 4. I know it's a bit out there. It is, and like I said, he's kind of the reason why I have this back and forth scoring match with David.
Yeah. Cool. How long have you been coming to the arcade?
Ever since you guys first opened up back in August.
Back in August 2010.
Right. When you first had your grand opening, I was there. And I was amazed with the amount of games that you had out there. It was like my whole childhood was relived all over again. Nowadays, when I come here, I feel like a kid in a candy store.
That's awesome. Coming here, obviously, we're always running events here. What are some of your favorite events or personal memories or achievements that have happened here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade for you?
For me, it would be the amount of tournaments you guys would run, namely the Killer Instinct tournaments.
Yes. How many of those have you won?
I want to say about 3 or 4. I did not win the last one you guys held. That was done by my buddy Matt.
Yes.
Because it was he and I in the finals. But other than that, yeah, I think it was like 4 times I think I have won that.
Uh-huh.
And then you had your NFL Blitz tournaments.
That was a lot of fun, too.
Those, you'd have to do that again at some point.
For sure.
But I remember the very first one you won, that's when me, Joseph William Green, we won the first one. And then after that, I know we've been kind of slipping on it, but it happens. It's Blitz.
Sure.
Other memories, other stuff, your anniversaries, your anniversary events. I feel bad for not coming to your last one because, again, I was gone in Canada for the summer, and I got to listen to your podcasts. I would have loved to have been there for that.
Oh, we would have really liked to have had you in on that.
Right. Other than that, and then you have some others where you actually have your cast from Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
In which some I actually have them from on Facebook right now.
I remember the last one that they were here and you were playing, Daniel Pacina, who played Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile. He was giving you a little bit of a hard time while you were playing, and
it was so much great memories.
Yeah,
I hope to see them again, though. I do.
Oh, they will definitely be back here again very soon.
Right.
Any other video game related things that you would like people to know about you and or the arcade?
So other than playing fighters, I also play a lot of MMOs, RPGs. Stuff like World of Warcraft. I actually got back into it with my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And this was actually about a week ago. Other than that, I don't play a lot of classic games now. I'm not that great at I wish I could be as good as people like James White, Matt Rocco, all the others. And I don't know. For me, fighting games are like my comfort zone.
Yeah.
That's where I probably would excel the most.
Do you, when you're playing those games, do you like to? And how are you as far as being open with sharing your techniques and stuff?
Oh, I think if I have people ask me all the time when I play certain games, certain fighting games, like they will ask me, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, what you do to pull this move off? And I would give them step by step, like, okay, you do this, and then you follow with this, and 9 times out of 10, everything's about timing.
Yeah.
I wish I could, you know what? And I wish I could do that for games like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have no timing on that at all. But then again, I don't have much time to play console. As far as console games go, like I own a PS3, and I would once in a while play like the current fighting games. Stuff like, again, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, King of Fighters 13. I would play some of those on and off. Most of the time, because I have a lot of priorities I usually take care of. Like, for instance, I have to plan out my wedding coming up next year, for one. So that takes up a good amount of my time.
For sure.
And then stuff with family, and that's about it.
Cool. Well, we really appreciate you coming on and talking with us about your gaming experiences and your time at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. And again, we appreciate everything that you do here and all the scores that you set. And thanks.
Thank you, Doc.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is Doc Mack, again, coming to you from the Galloping Ghost Arcade. And this was a Gamer Profile with Norbert Vale. Hope to see everybody around the arcade soon. Thanks a lot.